Noam Chomsky has been quite the outspoken critic of President Donald Trump throughout the campaign trail as well as his presidency. And also, he kind of predicted the rise of Trump also. You can go look at that video, but he basically, he was like, there's going to be someone who's a populist who comes in and blames the blacks and all this stuff. And he was pretty fucking right, honestly. That was a pretty crazy prediction. But Noam Chomsky, also, I want to mention, it was surprising to me that he was down with voting for the lesser of two evils because he's really heavy left, right? When you're talking about a far lefty, that's Noam Chomsky, okay? When you're talking about someone, you think of someone far left, it's Noam Chomsky. He's basically an anarcho-syndicalist. He's somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know I think that's what he calls himself, but I'm not 100% sure. He's definitely an anarchist, though. I mean, he thinks that really, the state should dissolve and it should just be workers owning the means of production. And he also said that it's possible for a society to be without currency, without money. But he went after Trump, but he also said that basically it's going to take a while and a lot of effort to be able to overturn all the bullshit that Trump did. So Raw Story says, in a wide-ranging interview published on Truth Out, the legendary political activist and social critic Noam Chomsky explains the multifold factors that propelled Donald Trump to victory in 2016 and what progressives can do to beat the fascistic elements that fuel his popularity. Chomsky refuses to offer up easy answers or let Democrats off the hook. In fact, he starts with a critique of President Barack Obama, who failed to deliver on policy on many issues despite the lofty rhetoric of his campaign. Quote, "Many were seduced by the rhetoric of hope and change and deeply disillusioned by the very early discovery that the words had little substance. I don't usually agree with Sarah Palin, but she had a point when she ridiculed this hopey changey stuff. A fair number of Obama voters, mostly working people, switched to Trump. But Chomsky also acknowledges the visceral rage of racist whites triggered by Obama's election. Quote, quite apart from Obama's disappointing policies, he and the Democratic Party were victims of the intense racism that is deeply rooted in large parts of American society. The visceral hatred of Obama cannot be explained in other terms. On the Republican end, Chomsky notes that the party establishment tried to suppress or exploit the fringe candidates on the right as they pursued their pro-corporate agenda, but they could only do that for so long. Quote, the establishment was able to suppress them and gain their own candidate, but that didn't change the basis for their support, he says. Furthermore, the GOP establishment's policy platform is so antithetical to what most Americans want that they made themselves largely irrelevant. For years, both parties have drifted to the right, the Republicans off the spectrum of normal parliamentary politics. Their dedication to wealth and corporate power is so extreme that they cannot get votes on their actual policies, which are now being revealed to us daily, and so have had to mobilize a voting base on issues unrelated to their service to their actual constituency. Says Chomsky fears that Donald Trump's high approval rating among Republicans, while not totally surprising at this stage of his presidency, shows America's in a very dangerous place. So, Noam Chomsky is a real progressive, and while he's a lot further left than I am on the domestic policy spectrum for sure, being an anarcho-syndicalist, that's, anarchist, just in general, right, that far left, he definitely has his heavy-handed criticisms of corporate Democrats and, people like Barack Obama, and there's no problem with the hopey-changey stuff per se, but when you campaign on hopey-changey stuff and then you don't bring that hopey-changey stuff, then there's a problem because you campaigned on something that you weren't able to do. And so I think that, Obama's, while a lot of it wasn't, was a problem with the Republicans just wanting to obstruct him from day one, that was surely a problem, 100%, right? But there was definitely a fundamental problem, a visceral problem, as Chomsky would probably put it, in Obama, deciding to want to hold hands with the Republicans every step of the way. And that did not work because the Republicans are not about moving. They want to obstruct. And so, he fucked up on that. But, I think the 2020 election really depends on who is in opposition to Trump in the election. Because people ask me this a lot. They go, hey, what do you think the odds are of him actually winning again his re-election in 2020? And this is what I say. It depends on who his opponent is. If it's Bernie Sanders, he's going to get blown out of the water. But if it's Cory Booker or if it's Kamala Harris or whoever, they have a chance of winning, but they also have a chance of losing, though, because those people are not going to mobilize anybody to vote. No one gives a shit about going out to vote for Cory Booker. No one gives a shit about going out to vote for Kamala Harris. Now, if it's Joe Biden, to be fair, he's probably going to win that pretty easily because he doesn't have that same tarnished record that Hillary does. And people like Joe Biden. You know, they find him sort of charismatic, if you will. Some people at least do. But Noam Chomsky 100% right in his criticism of, you know, corporate Democrats and Trump himself.